world? You already know what time it is. What we needed to bring no more, so I'll do with a toast to the real folk. Right? The real way. Force plays the clip. Now, let's get into it. This one right here is called the honor roll, you know what I'm saying? Various topics, you know? Various topics. Not probable, they're honorable. I want to shed some light on this whole kind of situation. I found it very crazy that they be in charge of all types of shit. Criminal organization. I'm not surprised. Murders. You know what I'm saying? 50 murders. And they be in charge with state R.I.C.O. Let me get this straight. There's over 50 murders that happen in a certain period. And y'all can catch that. Or you're all trying to build up a case to witness for all of that. So y'all let them commit murders with impunity. Or is it just hearsay? Injection. I gotta ask myself, how could they be charged with 50 murders? They have to use their lyrics as evidence. Case. I mean, I'm not saying that they might have something that looks like, come on, this shit is far-fetched. Got Young Thug shit up, renting a car in 2012. Somebody wanted to go commit a murder. But the person that drove shitty cars to kill Nipsey, you let her go the same day. Or you could, for a certain week, she got apprehended being an accomplice to that. Now, this is not a whole bevy of other stuff. But what the public eye is so much going on. There's a whole bunch of BS. Yeah, I remember a while back. I dug in the never thought it was good. It for like 40 violent offenders. Yeah, released. Yeah. And then once they pay for the non-violent release, they start doing different activities. Polish up their image a little bit. This is smart. Everybody's a gang member. Let me pull it up. All of a sudden, all they have is Doug's mugshot. Footage of them getting something's niggas doing life. Right? But they're also nothing on the good shit that he's gonna do. Well, why would they do that? We built into proven innocent, right? That's basically what the RICO law is, right? I was just trying to figure it out. Like, why? How they bring in the RICO laws? Hey, that's not enough. Industry. $100 billion. Give me that shit. That means y'all had endless resources to take down $100 billion a year, right? Conspiracy. What have you. These little offshoot gangs. They're not really organized crime like that. Where you have some actions, like the spawns of guns and drugs. To the victor goes the spoils, but only to a certain extent, where they see fit. Okay, this makes sense now. Why shouldn't I do with this? Why should I fight like this? Money. Well, obviously, like that wiretaps got this with that. But it's not organized to law enforcement judges, politicians in their back pocket. Street gang, street stuff. So if you don't think you're a street dude, how are you doing stuff? And if you are a street dude, don't get caught up in some street stuff. So, in my humble opinion, the charges that are brought forth after 10-year long investigation proves that within the last 10 years, drug and gun street life has changed astronomically. Turned into some portions. Whereas anybody you deal with, or talk to, would be part of their group that are potentially get police into R.I.C.O charge. Like what's happening to Young Thug and Gunner right now. So anyways, just listen to the new developments that happen because it makes you think, it makes you chuckle, like what do they want with these brothers? Why is it so blatantly obvious that we want all these Atlanta gangs? These guys making money down south. You know what I'm saying? They want to go after them, but they don't want to go after the other gangs, which are operating by number, or they're the ones bringing in all the bullshit, all the degeneracy, all the hate, the same stuff, the vice versa. I need hard to eliminate on the side of the world. Truth, righteousness, and justice. So let's see what they have to say about this. Got me really wondering, was this all a game? And there's one thing that seemed real suspicious. I heard rapper Remy said when she went to court one day, for some odd reason, they put all the famous rappers on the same court date. So it was Remy Ma, Busta Rhymes, Lil Wayne, and somebody else. That was going to court all on the same day. Like, feds lined it up with that for a photo op. Like, yo, fuck it. They ain't that big enough for them to have their separate days. Put them all on the same day and get these fucking press fucking people out of here. Logging up the fucking hours and shit. That's exactly what they did. Not only that, it creates a notion that in order to such as like they got We got a number of things, but the thing that really to make sure people that get stay away from bullshit. We got the people that want to get to it. They're posting all the loudest. They always have the most smart, say the most outlandish things that people want to run with because they feel like, oh, with this dual status, I have, I can get away with it. And they do because at the end of the day, why would you not let somebody of your intellectual stature when you feel like they have some type of superiority or something? Hold over. So let's go ahead and listen to what they got to say about this whole situation. About Young Thug.
Daily. The murder of NBA star Lorenzen Wright.
I just made bad decisions because I was scared.
12 killing great people. What did that claim?
Did it reveal any DNA at their name?
No.
To your knowledge, did follow-up ever done in relation to the things being in one of your agent's summaries?
There's argued that evidence has a right. Interesting that I know even some people have suggested maybe a Botox expert to talk about the light bruising under the eyes, but we'll save that for the lawyers.
My bad, y'all. I just wanted to get this little tip over what they're going to say.
Up on Law and Crime Daily, 12 years after the murder of NBA star Lorenzen Wright, his ex-wife Sherry Wright is up for parole. Plus, Young Thug's lyrics are used as evidence as the rapper faces legal charges in Georgia.
Mr. Steele's case. Mr. Steele, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. How are you, sir?
Good, always good to see you.
I feel the same here.
Doing okay.
I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad we were able to take it. Again, wait a minute. We can take your patience.
Let me set up the case first. This is Position 20, case number 22CP208957, Jeffrey Williams. And I want to say good afternoon, you, Mr. Williams. I'm Judge Wolf. This is your felony appearance. Good afternoon. We're doing this remotely because of COVID. You have the right to remain silent. You're presumed innocent, and you have the right to an attorney. Your lawyer, Mr. Steele, is on the call. So let me start with you, Mr. Steele. This is a first appearance. Do you want to be heard on probable cause or just talk?
We will be heard on Your Honor.
Okay. So let me ask, is this your case, Mr. Smith?
Yes, Judge.
And is this part of that same indicted case or something different?
That is correct. It is part of the indicted case, Judge.
Okay, if you could announce that first, and then we'll go from there.
Yes, Judge. So these charges, these warrants stem from indictment number 22 at C-182-273 as well, Your Honor. Would you like to go ahead and proceed with my position on mine as well, Judge? Or?
Yes, please.
Okay. So it's the state's position that Mr. Williams access to resources, given that we're still in the process of apprehending everyone on that larger indictment, Your Honor. It's the state's position that he is a flight risk, as well as there's a clear risk to hinder the administrations of justice. Your Honor, officers executed a search warrant at the home of Mr. Williams. They recovered a large quantity of drugs, several firearms, one of which including a automatic switch, making it a fully automatic machine gun. And given the nature of these allegations of bond, Your Honor, would respectfully request that you deny bond.
And I just want to understand, Mr. Smith, you're saying that Mr. Steele's client, Mr. Williams, he was indicted on that same 22 SC 182273 or not?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and I thought that it was the state's position for the delegation order from Judge Brasher that this court, me being a magistrate court judge, that I don't have authority to consider bond. Is that the case, or are you saying that I do?
And just to clarify, Your Honor, with that indictment, that was a direct indictment. These are additional warrants that were taken out stemming from that particular indictment. Whether or not these new warrants will become a part of that indictment, the decision has not been made as of yet.
Got it. But they're within the four corners of indictment 22 SC 182273. These warrants are not part of that indictment.
That is correct, Your Honor.
It would require a re-indictment if the state chose to do so.
That is correct.
Okay, so you do agree that these charges have not been assigned to Judge Plainfield, they're unindicted, and it would be for the court to consider today.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, I understand. And it goes beyond Mr. Steele's case with Mr. Williams, but I just want to know for future reference today, Mr. Smith, I appreciate the update. Position 18, Diamante Kendrick, position 19, Martinez Arnold, they're in the same hospital, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, got it. And Mr. Steele, just to bring you up to speed as well, there was a co-defendant or someone related, Sergio Kitchens, who was on the calendar earlier, represented by Mr. Samuel. His case, though, for today was strictly the case that was indicted a couple days ago. That was a different situation. I'm going to treat this just like a regular first appearance. So with that in mind, let me go back to you, Mr. Steele. Do you want to be heard on probable cause, or do you want to just be heard on bond?
Your Honor.
Okay, got it. So the court does find probable cause based on warrants, Mr. Williams, for the following charges: possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, possession of Schedule 3, 4, or 5 controlled substance with intent to distribute, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, possession of a sawed-off shotgun, sawed-off rifle, I think in this case the allegations of machine gun, dangerous weapon or silencer, unlawful for a person employed or associated with a certain organization to conduct or participate in that organization, unlawful for, and there are three.
As 18 cycles beginning in 2008 of the state offender with arrest in the states of California and Georgia. Last year,
The Wayne County Road, and we're gonna talk with the judge saying 3 substance, so there was a part that he missed.
Okay, well, let me just kind of back up. What I was saying was, sir, the court does find probable cause for possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, possession of a Schedule 3, 4, or 5 substance with intent to distribute, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of a machine gun. And then there are 3 counts about unlawful association with certain groups. I don't know, Mr. Steele, if you want me to wait sounding what the actual charge is. I was trying to talk around it. Those are the 3 charges that relate to the first 3 charges. That was the last thing I said, sir. So I now heard from pretrial 18 cycles starting in 2008 out of California and Georgia. Ms. Gordon, do you show anything else?
the last arrest was November of 2018 for possession of methamphetamine with intent to distribute, purchase, possession, manufacture, distribution, or sale of marijuana. And that was in DeKalb County. No disposition listed. No felony convictions listed on the GCIC. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, what's the state's bond recommendation, please?
My recommendation is that Mr. Williams remain in no bond status, Your Honor. I'll reiterate, he's at a significant flight risk given his access to resources. There's also a clear risk of hindering the administration of justice, given that we have not apprehended everyone on the larger indictment, Your Honor, and given He's also at risk of committing additional felonies. As you see, within the last arrest, there was a possession of methamphetamines, and I believe officers also recovered that during the execution of their search warrant. So we would ask that bond be denied, Your Honor.
Do you show that he has no felony convictions?
I believe that's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you for the state. Mr. Steele, please tell me about Mr. Williams and any bond recommendation you have, sir.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Thank you for everything you do. Honorable Prosecutor Smith, thank you. Mr. Williams, good afternoon. Your Honor, Mr. Williams is 30 years of age. He is an incredible human being walking among us. He has grown up in rubble here in the Cleveland Avenue area. He has made it where he has performed musically on every continent in this world except for Antarctica. He has performed his music in front of as many as 300,000 people at a time. He is signed to a record label. You have members of the record label on your Zoom right now. I want to hear from him. He just got back from Norway, performing in Norway, and he got back this Sunday before Monday when law enforcement officers executed a search warrant on his home based on a grand jury warrant. I was there at that time, Your Honor. There were at least 10 people who were in the house with Mr. Williams. These items that are being litigated now before the honorable court for those charges, those unindicted charges, all come from the execution of the search warrant. We are not agreeing that we are responsible for any type of crime. Mr. Williams has never been convicted of any type of felony. I've defended him for at least 10, if not more years, Your Honor. He was not a convicted felon. His case in DeKalb County arises out of a show that he was performing, Jimmy Fallon show. He was going to an airport in DeKalb County on a private plane. He's in the car with two other people, and at that scene of that traffic stop, on body camera, another person took full responsibility of any type of illegal contraband. The Honorable DeKalb County Superior Court Judge Adams heard motion to suppress out of the honor of representing Mr. Williams, granted the motion to suppress the state appeal. It got reversed, and I have been trying to get that case done with DeKalb County. It's now 4 years old, and they have not shown any type of interest in moving the case. And I have letter after letter begging that this case be disposed of and Mr. Williams be cleared. Your Honor, Mr. Williams owns homes here in the Atlanta, Georgia area. I don't disagree that people would consider that he has substantial resources. That is not a negative, that is a positive. He is not a flight risk. He has come back every single time from being anywhere located around this world. He would surrender his passport to me, although I believe law enforcement officers may have his passport, but if not, I will get that passport and I can surrender it to the sheriff, court, hold it myself, whatever the court states. As far as interfering with the administration of justice, as argued by the honorable prosecutor, there is not a scintilla of evidence that Mr. Williams has done anything to try to obstruct justice or try to hinder people from turning themselves in or being arrested. In fact, when law enforcement officers came into his home, I was there, Your Honor, until firsthand. He was nothing but a cooperative. He had his 14-year-old son with him at that time. In addition to that, the fact that the prosecution wants there is going to be no evidence. You can craft if you deem it appropriate. A bond order that he cannot be around weapons, although he's lawfully allowed to do it for the purposes of the bond, craft that order. The fact that he never obstructed the administration of justice, he's always come back to court when required to do so, because I have defended him on those cases. and any issues dealing with any other IR factors, including intimidation, witnesses, they are not here. We are going to fight this case, Your Honor, all the way through until the prosecution either surrenders or a jury reaches its verdict. And I would ask you to please set a reasonable bond with whatever conditions you want. Now, with all that being said, I am not immune to what you said earlier. I understand that you have no jurisdiction, I heard you say that earlier, to deal with the indicted offense. So I understand that even if you do say here today, which is what I respectfully request, Mr. Williams is still in custody because we do have a pending indictment. We're waiting for Judge Blanco to set the hearing date for that.
Mr. Steele, two quick questions. One is, do you have a specific bond number in mind that you're asking for to be settled?
Yes, I would ask for a signature bond. There is no reason that Mr. Williams on these charges should have anything other than respectfully a signature bond. If you don't believe that is appropriate, Your Honor, then whatever you believe to be reasonable, we will, I don't want to tell you, we will make the bond.
Okay, thank you. And also, just one last question, Mr. Steele, if you don't mind. You mentioned and alluded to other people being on the call now. I leave that completely up to you. If you want them to be heard, if it's relevant to the issue of bond,
Mr. Williams finished her record label, and she is widely popular, Your Honor. Mr. Williams he's like the Babe Ruth of the musical industry. So, and you just got on your screen, Your Honor, two people I actually will vouch for them. They have been nothing but professional. I know them for years, and that is the two people who I believe if you just raise your hand for the South Court to see you if you have any questions, Your Honor. These are people, they are not convicted felons, they are business people, they are college graduates, and they have been around the world with this work.
okay. Well, I do want to just acknowledge the presence here today. I always thank anybody who's their own case. It could be someone here on behalf of the defense, whoever it is. We always welcome everybody to the court, and I do consider your support of Mr. Williams as I consider bond at this time. And Mr. Smith, to be fair to both sides, do you have anybody on this call?
State does not, Your Honor.
Okay, I want to acknowledge anybody on either side of the case. But gentlemen, thank you, both of you. Now, I do want to just clarify, Mr. Smith. My understanding is that that Mr. Williams, Jeffrey Williams, was indicted a couple days ago on the 22 USC Judge Randall case, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And any bond that's to be considered on that case, per the delegation order from Judge Brasher, is going to go to Judge Randall, and that's not before me today.
That's also correct.
Okay. And it's the state's position. You're asking for no bond. Mr. Steele's asking for a reasonable bond, preferably an unsecured judicial release. The reason for the state's request is risk of flight and considerations going to people who've not been arrested yet, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor, in addition to that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, Mr. Steele, I just wanted to be clear on this. Your client has no felony convictions. He does have an open DeKalb felony case from 4 years ago. So it's a while ago now. It's been up on appeal. It's back in the DA's office. Your perspective is it's not really getting any traction at this point. But the allegations are meth with intent and sale of marijuana.
There's a small amount, they're in a car between two other people. The items are in a briefcase, and on the body camera, a passenger stated that that's my drugs. And
Yes.
that's it.
Okay. Thank you both. You both do a great service to your clients, and it makes the court's job
I think, a lot easier to do. So thank you both. Now, let me get back to you, Mr. Williams. So the court does find probable cause for the listed charges, like I mentioned earlier, based on the warrants. And at this time, the court's not going to set a bond. I do find that you're a flight risk. And I do agree for bond purposes with the entirety of the state's argument. I will say also, though, the court is very strongly considering that you've got 22 SC 182873 related to this same investigation before Judge Glanville. And I don't want to restrict Judge Glanville from making a decision on bond in regards to everything so that he can balance everything. So that's the order of the court today. It's no bond for those reasons.
Your Honor, can I ask a question?
Of course.
You found a flight risk of a gentleman who has major ties to this community and grew up here, but then you stated that you don't want to bind Judge Glanville. Is it the order of your court that you want to pass this to Judge Glanville? Because your order of no bond will restrict Mr. Williams.
I agree. I don't know how else to say it. The court agrees with the state's argument for this bond hearing today that your client is a flight risk, that he has traveled extensively. Even if he turned in his passport, that would not restrict his travel outside the state of Georgia. He has a lot of support, it appears, outside the state of Georgia. It might be hard to get him back to Georgia if he were to leave the state, and I could not restrict his interstate travel. I also mentioned Judge Glanville to consider that there's an open related case that at this point does not have a bond. And so it also makes sense for Judge Glanville to consider everything and for him not to be hamstrung by any decision that the court makes today. So it's not passing the buck, it's making a decision today based on what's in front of me now.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
You can set a condition that Mr. Williams is on an ankle monitor and confined to an area not being safe, but I would ask the court to please reconsider, because what you're doing now is setting precedent of a risk of flight when there is zero and the man leaves the country because of work.
Well, I will also add that there's a risk of committing additional felonies for the reason that there's an open possession of methamphetamine with intent and sale of marijuana case pending, and that those are the same charges alleged here. Allegations in both cases, Mr. Williams, you're presumed innocent. I know Mr. Steele is already zealously representing you, but if we can put that on the order as well, that it's no bond, risk to commit additional felonies as well. I appreciate your argument, Mr. Steele. Nobody does it better, but that's the order of the court. So, any other issues on bond, you go in front of Judge Glanville down the road.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Very nice to see you. And again, to the people on the call supporting Mr. Williams, today means the world to him, and the court appreciates you being with us here today. Mr. Smith, anything else from the state?
Nothing further from the state at this time, other than the additional two.
No one does it better than you. See, you're supposed to argue for your client. No one argues better than you. That's a compliment. It's just not like in your hands. It's quite paid them. Pretty big too. Just to get caught up. Let's see, that's how the game goes. First and foremost, lawyers are officers of the law. I mean, they'll pull you off. You put it off for anything. Good or bad, right or wrong. Let's bring it all up into perspective now. What they got Gunner for? Nothing. Let's check Gunner's good for here.
Hey, Grant Cardone here, and I'd like to invite you to attend our
My name is Judge Biz. We're going to go on the record now. This is our first appearance warrant calendar, position 14. The indictment number is 22 SC 12273, the state versus Sergio G. Kitchens. And Mr. Kitchens, again, I'm Judge Wolf. This is a calendar to let you know what's going on with your case. There are a few issues that we might take up. I want to remind you, if you're presumed innocent, you have the right to remain silent. And you have a right to a lawyer. Your lawyer, Mr. Samuel, as well as Mr. Garland, they're on the call. We're doing all this remotely because of COVID. So we also have the prosecutor on the case, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, if I could begin with you, sir. From the state's perspective, this is a little bit different because the case has been indicted. What is the state asking the court to do in a case today?
The state's position is that because this is a direct indictment, jurisdiction will lie with the Superior Court Judge, the Honorable Judge Levin. I believe that that's fine.
Okay, and I did see that on Odyssey. It looks like Judge Randall, who is an elected Superior Court Judge, was assigned the case. So, Mr. Smith, is it your position that probable cause has been established by the indictment?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. And the other issue that often comes up with these first appearance calendars is bond. And so do I understand you that you're asking that a plan will take up the bond issues?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Let me hear from Mr. Samuel on both issues, the PC and the bond. Anything you would like to add, sir?
Your Honor, there's nothing to add on the problem call, or obviously the indictment was returned, so we can't challenge the problem call. We do believe that you have concurrent jurisdiction to consider bond. This is a case in which Mr. Kitchens is, I'm sure you haven't had time to read through the indictment in this case, but the allegations, just reading the indictment itself and nothing more, it is so clear that he is entitled to bond. There are, in essence, 2 traffic offenses, not trafficking, but motor vehicle traffic offenses that are alleged. I represented him in one of those cases, and he was found guilty of a window tint violation. That's the R.I.C.O allegation with regard to 4 or 5 of the paragraphs of the R.I.C.O indictment. The other one claims that he was speeding. He got a speeding ticket. Actually, wasn't even a driver. And someone in another car had a gun. With regard to, and the only other allegations in the R.I.C.O indictment involve lyrics for some of his songs, some of which are some of the most internationally famous songs right now. Top songs, Billboard, #1 albums in the country, and the prosecution has indicted him, alleging those lyrics as being part of the reasons why he's guilty of a R.I.C.O offense. He voluntarily surrendered yesterday. He wasn't picked up. We called the sheriff, said we're coming down. We know the indictment was just returned. I talked to the DA, Mr. Geary, told him we were coming down. Nobody had to go pick him up. He poses no risk of flight at all. He's been born and raised in Georgia, been his whole time. His mother is sitting across the table from me here in my office. And he has no felony convictions of any kind. We're sitting here in jail at this point on a R.I.C.O allegation involving 2 motor vehicle offenses plus lyrics. And that is it, Your Honor. And they have to wait for however many weeks it's going to take to get on the calendar with Judge Glanville, on 26 defendants in this case. And I think you have concurrent jurisdiction. I've had plenty of cases where magistrates have set bond in cases. This isn't a case in which the magistrate lacks jurisdiction to set bond. It's not one of the 7 deadly sins.
May I ask a question? And I apologize for cutting you off, Mr. Samuel. I want to just deal with that threshold question first. The court does tend to agree with some of what you said, that this isn't one of those offenses where bond would only go to a superior court judge. There is concurrent jurisdiction on the bond. But I do want to hear from Mr. Smith from the state. Is there...
Whoever's talking.
You're saying that you would rather Judge Glanville hear the bond, correct?
Judge, what I'm saying is that this case has been indicted. It's had already been assigned to Glanville. So I believe jurisdiction lies with Judge Glanville.
And so do you have any legal authority at this point to say that the court does or does not have authority to consider bond today?
I can pull it for you, Judge. But again, with it already being assigned, I believe it's the jurisdiction of the Superior Court. But I can get that for you.
And is there, Mr. Samuel, I appreciate that, Mr. Samuel suggests that there's no court case scheduled before Judge Glanville. You might have said this earlier, but when was it indicted?
The 9th.
Okay, 2 days ago. Okay. And do you agree, Mr. Smith, that the indictment issue notwithstanding, that based on the charge that Mr. Kitchens was indicted for, that the magistrate court would have authority to set on that charge? You're just saying because the case has been indicted, it needs to go to Judge Glanville.
And has been assigned to Judge Glanville.
Right. And is there any word from Judge Glanville's office that they want to handle this and that they don't want this court to hear the bond issue?
Not that I'm aware of this time, Judge.
Okay.
And not aware of that either, Your Honor.
Okay. And so, I just want to make sure, Mr. Smith and Mr. Samuel, that the court starts with the premise that I don't have authority to do anything in particular unless the law expressly allows the court to do it. And I'm just a little concerned, Mr. Smith, where you say, and I respect your position, that because the case has been indicted and assigned to Judge Glanville, that would remove jurisdiction. And you said that there's authority for that. I can do one of two things. I can either just say, in the court's discretion, I'll move it on to Judge Glanville and let him do bond. But the court is a little bit concerned that there's no court scheduled for that. Or I would need some kind of authority from the state indicating, or some indication from Judge Glanville's office that they would prefer to handle the bond issue. It is a conspiracy to violate R.I.C.O charge. It's one count. So what's the state's position on that? Do you have any authority for the court?
May I have a brief moment, Judge?
Yes, of course. And I don't want to rush you. I don't want to rush either side.
I want to get the relevant authority for you to show that it's within the jurisdiction of the Superior Court.
Oh, thank you.
And Mr. Smith, you can check your email section.
And for everybody here for the 11:30 calendar, we'll get started soon. I appreciate everybody's patience. We'll resolve this case one way or the other in the next several minutes.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that we're dealing, which case are we dealing with right now?
It's position 14 on the first appearance warrant calendar. It's 22 SC 182273.
Thank you.
Yes. And good morning to you, Ms. Matthews.
Good morning, Laura.
By advertising on YouTube, I grow my business by reaching my most important customers, people like Allison. She's a fast
looking at 2021 EX001071, an order delegating setting of bail. It was filed June 11th, 2021. And it does give this schedule. It's signed by Judge Brasher as the Chief Judge of the Superior Court of Fulton County Atlanta Judicial Circuit. One of the things that it says is that the judges of the Superior Court of Fulton County Atlanta Judicial Circuit hereby order and authorize the delegation of the authority to set bonds to magistrate and state courts. And I want to say to you, Mr. Kitchens, I'm a magistrate court judge. The delegation of the authority to set bonds to magistrate and state court judges for a period of 1 year, so we're still under that year, pursuant to OCGA 176(1)H, under the following conditions. And we've already mentioned that there are certain charges not before the court today, not delegated for any case, regardless of the charges involved, that has been indicted and assigned to the docket of the Superior Court judge. So I do want to hear from Mr. Samuel. You were talking about Rule 26.1. I want to give both sides ample opportunity to argue this issue. The court is sensitive to any defendant in jail without bond, but I also must follow and respectfully follow Judge Brasher's order, as well as the laws and constitution of our state. So with that, Mr. Samuel, we can give you a copy of that delegating order, but it seems to speak directly to this situation.
It does. I don't have a copy of the delegating order. I still maintain that you have concurrent jurisdiction both by statute and by the uniform rules. And I'm not sure that Judge Brasher necessarily was absolutely depriving you of the ability to do it, because there's plenty of cases where magistrates do it. We have no word from Judge Glandel saying that, with a 26 defendant case, he's going to, suspend everything else, the important matters that he has, and deprive the magistrate of, your expertise to grant bonds. And especially, as I said, in a case like this where, the defendant's in custody, he turns himself in, voluntarily surrenders, there's no allegations of violence, there's no allegations of flight, no allegations of any danger to the community. And, Judge Glandel, for all we know, is going to set this down for a hearing sometime in June or July, because it's just a 26 defendant case. And I think that, given your authority, let the prosecution appeal if they want to appeal the granting of bond in this case. They have the authority to appeal and see if Judge Glandel, he may very well welcome having to give him assistance. Obviously, we all trust you, Judge Wolf. You've been around longer than not everybody, but most people. And so we think you ought to hear from us on bond.
Okay. Well, I will dispute two things you said about any expertise I have, and also that I can help Judge Glandel in any way. He does a fine job and doesn't need my help. I just take the reading of that order from Judge Brasher. It's something that I apply regularly when I handle these calendars, and I'm not going to make an exception today. So respectfully, all those bond issues are absolutely relevant to Kitchens, but they need to be taken up before Judge Glandel, because he was assigned the indicted case. If you were just in front of me, like a lot of other people on this calendar, unindicted, then absolutely I would consider bond. But I don't have the authority to do it today. So any other issues need to go before Judge Glandel. And so with that, is there, Mr. Samuel, anything else for the defense that I can say or address?
The only thing I can say, Your Honor, is that we will contact Judge Glandel's office. We've been trying to reach over there today and see if he will authorize you to consider bond. And hopefully we can get back before you, maybe not later today, but within a day or so, to see if he will authorize you to do it, notwithstanding Judge Brasher's standing order.
And I appreciate that. The court's always here to serve everybody in a neutral, even-handed way. And so if that situation arises, we're here. And so in the meantime, Mr. Samuel, Mr. Garland, very good to see both of y'all. Do you have any other cases on the calendar?
Nothing else from the defense, Your Honor.
Okay, well, be safe. Hope to see both of you soon. again, before you this case.
Judge, just want to point out, again, similar situation as well yesterday. The court declined to hear it, so I echo your ruling today, Judge.
Okay. And Mr. Smith, if you don't have any other business on calendar, you're excused, but both sides are welcome to stay with us.
I do believe I have a few more positions on the calendar, Judge, so I'll stick around.
Okay, we'll try to get you out of here as fast as we can. Mr. Kitchens, that's the order of the court. It's kind of a non-order. Everything needs to go in front of Judge Landa. So good luck with everything. If you have any questions, please see Mr. Samuel.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Be safe.
Hey, Greg Cardone here, and I'd like to invite you to attend our 10X Interactive Boot Camp. It is 3 days with me. It's the lowest cost offer that we do the entire year. This is an interactive boot camp where you and I get to spend 3 days together.
Y'all see where that's going. And then Thursday in the book what? Public figures. System. No. Write it up. Most 54 situation. You gotta really ask yourself, what you doing? So see the time and being resources. So get you all that. All money is good money. You know what I'm saying? Everybody used to. That's why inflation's up there. The sky. Realize one thing, the scarcity causes people to panic, causes people to act. That's how I feel about it. Support my brother. You know my slogan. We go out and do something stupid, ask yourself, what would Mac do? Would all I do is sit back, relax, facts. Really